We have a clear path from enterprise content management to content services. But before we can enter the discussion about content services, we need to know what enterprise content management is about. It's a term defined in the late 1998. 20 years consistent for an industry is rather good, I think. It was created by an industry association, AIM, the Association for Intelligent Information Management, and this association delivered as well the definition. What is enterprise content management? It is the strategies, the methods, and the tools. By the way, vendors often forget the strategies, the organizational impact, the methods, even the vision, but talk about systems only. Enterprise content management is to capture information, input management, with different features to manage the information throughout its life cycle, to store information, to preserve it for decades or even hundreds of years. We don't know how this will work out. And deliver the content to the end user, to output management solutions, always related to organizational processes. And that is the major impact of ECM as a philosophy, as a strategy. We're not talking about here about ECMS, Enterprise Content Management Systems, but about the big roof above all these technologies. Behind this definition, we find a rather good graphic explaining the different components. It's capture with different technologies like scanning or importing. It's the management circle with document management, collaboration, web content management, records management, workflow, business process management. We have the store component, we have the long-term preservation or archiving component, and the deliver components. And behind these, we find as well other technologies. Email is just another type of a document. Collaboration today is not only done with tools like Teams, it's as well social software. Records management is a crucial backbone to be compliant with legal regulations. And workflow and business process management, well, this is the high discipline where it really goes inside the company in the depths of processes, people, and behavior. It's about culture. So ECM always was about infrastructure. The client of the software wasn't ever in any way important. ECM was always about integration. That means we integrate these technologies in the software you're daily using, like your email software, like your ERP, like your HR software. These are the leading applications. ECM was always about services. And that is really strange that people now come around and say, well, let's only talk about services. And ECM was always bridging the gap between data, structured information, content, unstructured information like documents. And if you look in the history of ECM, you find this graphic from 2001, displaying how these 5 components, capture, manage, store, deliver, and preserve, connect this unstructured content, meaning documents and other information, with the controlled data in the databases and, most important, business processes. This idea still remains the same, and I believe it will remain the same as well in 10 years or 20 years. But now, as analysts often create new terms to bring new people to their expensive conferences. They need a new term every year. So somebody with Gartner had the idea, ECM is dead. It's out. It failed. Nobody was able to create a really enterprise-wide solution. Let's get rid of it. They didn't understand that ECM is a concept and not a technology. But big important analysts like Gartner always drive the market, and they change the industry. And by the way, when you're around this afternoon, the guy who is responsible for this change, the vice president for content management, will be available for your questions on the panel. So what happened in 2017? In a blog, a new employee of Gartner posted this message, well, the death of ECM and the birth of content services. He very soon got some problem because these quadrants and studies about enterprise content management were a cash cow. And now they have to create a new market with new studies for content services. And to really make it more and more complicated than before, they came up with 3 different types of content services. The first was Content Services Platforms, CSP. By the way, anybody of you would run around to a vendor and tell them, hey guys, I need a content services platform. Please sell one to me. Never. People are looking for different things, trying to solve their problems and not looking for platforms. The second thing is, well, content services applications. For those who studied informatics and remember the OSI model, services and applications are clearly 2 different things. Well, they combined it, meaning these are applications which handle invoices, handle business processes, and other stuff. And the third flavor they added was content services components. Components like an OCR engine, a PDF converter, something like that, which is in the infrastructure unseen in the IT. Well, it was not easy, so they came up with this graphic, well, where they have the interfaces and all the other stuff around APIs and connectors. What does mean in context? Okay, user-centric, you understand. Repository, what are foundation services? Well, make your own mind about content services by Gartner. But there's not only one big analyst. If we look on the same topic with Forrester, by the way, Forrester started with content services as a new concept even 2 years before Gartner. They came up with transactional content services. Well, that is something about the data and lists and backbone processes and such stuff. And business content services. Well, because the others had a trademark, they had to trademark their own terminology. But it's not the end. Well, this was a post on Twitter. ECM, reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. And so we today have a big mess of different terminology, of different acronyms, of terms, meaning different or similar or the same things. And vendors do this only to confuse you as possible buyer of these technologies not to buy. I have no other explanation. So, if we look on this, Gartner's CSP, Content Services Platforms, and Forrester's BCM, Business Content Services Platform, are in fact good old ECMS, Enterprise Content Management Systems, with the same vendors, the same functionalities, just new terminology. And my personal opinion is, forget about all these different acronyms and terms like enterprise content management systems, enterprise information management content services, intelligent information management content services, platform web content management, information governance, document management systems, records management systems, business content systems, and so on, and so on, and so on, because these are only different parts of or different manifestations of information management, overarching holistic information management. That's the future. That's my opinion.